What's good, gaming Illuminaughty out there? This your boy Flock, and welcome to another edition of the Triple Threat Sports Podcast. I am your host, it's your boy Flock right now, and joining me is my co-host to the left, Siggy Gun. Say what up.
What up? What up?
You got Ace of All Trades. Say what up.
What's good?
And links to everybody's social outlet is always in the description. Make sure you checking everybody out as well as everybody else in the GI squad. As you already know, it's a crazy week for the NBA. So some of the topics that we're going to talk about will be the NBA draft, winners and losers of that NBA draft, a couple of trades, and NBA free agency, which starts today. When you're seeing this, the NBA free agency has already started. So we'll start it off by talking about the NBA draft. The NBA draft was this past week. It was on Thursday of last week to be exact. Notable draft picks, of course, was Ben Simmons number 1, Brandon Ingram at number 2 to the Lakers. Ben Simmons, like I said, with the 76ers. We'll just start off. What were your top 3 best players picked in the draft there, Siggy?
All right, obviously the top 2 were the best. And then I think the shock was Boston passing on Chris Dunn. I mean, what in the world were the Celtics thinking? And before we give out the bad grades and the worst, of the draft, which I'm already going to tell you right now, I'll give you a hint. It starts with Boston and ends with Celtics. The fact that they had the 2 rumors right away was Nerlens Noel or whatever, the Sixers guy they're trying to get rid of their pick, like 2 of their picks, and Nerlens, whatever his name is now.
Yeah, Nerlens Noel.
Nerlens Noel. That trade proposal was solid enough for them to do it, and they didn't. They passed on it. And then there was the whole Chris Dunn to who was it? Was it what was the big one? It was the Bulls, right? Butler. Apparently, they were offering Butler for the 3 pick, they wanted done, and something else. I think maybe
they pulled that at the last. Yeah, Butler, they pulled that at the last minute though for it. So,
but I'm just shocked that in the end, normally what teams would do is if there was these kind of rumors, they'll take the player that everybody wanted, just in case somebody changes their mind at the end. Because obviously, what the Bulls were doing
of course.
The Bulls were feeling out, hey, we want to get in the top. Apparently, the rumor was they want to be in the top 8, right? So if it was Chris Dunn that they were really wanting, because then apparently they were trying to offer Minnesota everything also, because that's who it wanted being Chris Dunn. So the Timberwolves did the right move and they wanted to get in, because I was shocked that he fell that far. But as far as the top 3 players go, Dunn was the 3rd person that I thought was the best in the draft, and I'm shocked he fell past Boston.
Yep, that's exactly who I have. Simmons, Ingram, and Dunn as the top 3 best players drafted. Now, it may not be your specific 3. Anybody that's watching it or putting it in the comment section or whatever, but as basketball players, those are the best. Because Chris Dunn is a complete player. He's good on the offensive end. And if you know Tom Thibodeau, like I know Tom Thibodeau, he wants you to play defense. If you don't play defense, you're not going to play. Think I'm playing? Ask McDermott what happened his rookie year. He didn't do shit. He didn't play. He sat his ass on the bench. So, Ace, what were your top 3 picks in the NBA draft? Top 3 players picked.
I mean, you guys already pretty much put it out there. Simmons, Ingram, and Dunn. But I will say one thing about Ingram itself is the fact is, even though he was one of my top picks, not just for the fact is like overall I think he's a great athlete and he went to the Lakers. But one thing that I'm actually kind of really going to see is, one, is he going to put a little bit more weight on him, because he has to. Like, he's a very versatile forward, and I think we definitely need that. But I truly believe he needs to get stronger. If he does not get stronger, he is going to get bodied. But I also do still believe that he will be able to contribute already in LA. But unfortunately, how LA's been the past few years, that's not really saying much. And with comparison of everybody else in the league for the Western Conference, if he puts like at least another 20, 25 pounds on him of muscle, I think he'll be good. I think he'll be a dominant force. I just pray to the NBA gods that he doesn't pull another Julius Randle and getting hurt in the first game. I do not want that to happen to the Lakers.
I kept that to myself, because now you jinxed it.
I'm going to give you know what? It's fine. I really do hope that he goes well. He kind of reminds me of figure-wise of Kevin Durant, but he needs to put more muscle in. And
I
that's
mean, you remember they said the same thing about Durant too.
They said that
remember
exactly. I was
remember
gonna say that.
Remember when Durant couldn't bench 185 or something like that?
Right,
Like
exactly.
mad
But
weak and shit. But I mean, but that's a different type of animal. Like you only see those type of players once every 7 or 8 years. So
not anyone can be able to do that. Like Durant is skinny as shit, and he's still not like the strongest out there. But he makes what works for him, and I think Ingram will be able to do something along those lines. But I still do firmly believe that he needs to put some type of weight on to truly be a force down below.
all right, so we all in agreement that those were the best 3 overall players picked in their draft, right?
Yep.
All right, so we can move on and talk about the winners, overall winners. And when we say winners and losers of this draft, we're not talking about the obvious, like when you had the first, second, or third pick. That's an overall gimme. We talking about complete draft, like you drafted the right player at the right time for that situation. And I guess I'll start off. I'll give my top 3 winners. The Phoenix Suns. Cause they drafted that Bender guy. I think he's a draft and stash type player. He's about 2 years away from really being able to play. But he's looking. They compared him to Porzingis, but that's yet to be seen. I mean, we'll see. But he's a good player. And Ulis as well. They drafted him too in the second round. So that's a good one. Also, Minnesota. They just picked up the pieces where Boston fell on their ass and didn't draft Chris Dunn, and they ended up getting them. So that's definitely a pick. And in my eyes, if they keep him, Ricky Rubio's days are numbered. And third, the San Antonio Spurs, when they got that dude Murray, was it Levante Murray or something Murray?
Yeah, Duhante, no, whatever.
Start with an L, I believe. But Murray, that dude.
Duhante Murray.
He got picked Washington. with like the 29th pick. That dude could have easily, and I mean easily, went to Sacramento earlier. But I'll segue over to the loser, Sacramento, when they drafted a center. I don't even know the dude's name. They drafted a center. That's like 2 years in a row they drafted a center. Like, you just got Cauley Stein. You already have the best center in the NBA and DeMarcus Cousins. Why would you draft a center? So, and the Milwaukee Bucks also hold this L, Milwaukee. Like, y'all just hold this L. Everybody talking about how long this team is. I'm like, come on, man. Thon Maker. Like, that dude.
I don't think he's going to last.
That dude would have been picked. He would have been still around in the second round. Let's just be real. Nobody want that dude. Then the fact that how many years has this dude been 18 or 19 years old?
This dude is like 34.
The dude is like my age, man. Let's quit playing. Like, for real. Now, for real, that dude's got to be at least 23.
They said this dude was born in 1997. There ain't no way, bro. I need to see a valid birth. I need to see a valid birth certificate.
I don't believe it.
That's a 35-year-old man.
Either way, he's not that impressive to me. He's just really not. He's playing against like inferior competition, and
he's 7 foot. That's it.
He's gonna eventually get exposed. Hopefully, I'm wrong, but I don't want to see anybody fail. But I'm usually right. And the biggest L goes to the Boston Celtics. Because they had all these picks. Danny Ainge bragged about that shit for the past 2 years. About how he was going to have all these picks. He was going to wheel and deal. He was going to spin the wheel, make a deal, make all this shit happen. And they came out with a goose egg. They basically, what was that dude name they drafted? I forgot that dude name that quick, man. I had it written down. I guess I wrote it on a different piece of paper. But whatever that dude name was. And they passed up on Chris Dunn. Like, even if you're not going, like, you know how many teams would have made some type of deal for him? Huh?
Yep.
Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown.
That's it. Okay. Yeah. You just don't know how many teams would have been calling you saying, hey, we want this guy. We know you got Smart. We know you got Isaiah Thomas. Let's make a deal for this. That would have been your bargaining chip right there. But instead, they picked a guy that would have easily been available, like, with the 20th pick. Like,
yeah, which one of their picks, you know, for what do they have? They had 12 or 13. No, what was it? 16. They had the 16th pick. He probably would have been there.
He still would have been there. Still.
Yep.
Still would have been there.
Even the guy that drafted a 16 probably would have been there at 21.
Man, I mean, it wasn't a bunch of star power in the draft. It really wasn't. But there was a lot of good players It was a lot of good players. It just wasn't like players that you feel like that's going to be great. I feel like out of that draft, there's only going to be maybe 3 All-Stars in this draft. But
speaking of All-Stars, so my winners is New Orleans because they got Buddy from Oklahoma. Buddy's actually a really good player, and everybody slept on him. New Orleans didn't, obviously, but I think
they knew what they were doing. They were filling that void for Eric Gordon.
Exactly.
He easily have been. If Boston wanted picking a shooting guard, they should have picked him at least. If they're gonna pass on Dunn, so that was a W right there for New Orleans. Obviously, Minnesota with Dunn, they had a great draft. Even with Rubio, we're talking about Rubio. You know that's going to be a piece that they can trade. But even if they don't trade him, you know, with Levine and all that, I mean, you got a good rotation, good bench. So the Boston Celtics definitely take the L. Just because, even if they decided not to keep Dunn, you know, and trade him or anybody else smart, you know, obviously they're not going to get rid of Isaiah Thomas. It just would have looked better for potential free agents. You know, they were talking about Kevin Durant maybe coming over. It would have been a lot different by saying, hey, and by the way, we got this up-and-coming star, Chris Dunn. You know what I mean? A lot of teams can use that because the Knicks were trying last year with Porzingis. Hey, we got Porzingis. You know, nobody knew what he was going to do. But, hey, we got him. It sounds a lot better than, hey, we got Jaylen Brown. This is the future. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
just L for Boston.
And all right, so I mean, you guys pretty much hit it on the head of who won exactly. But I'm gonna just go ahead and say I think who lost. Obviously, besides Boston, and not because I'm biased, because I'm a Laker fan. But I also think that Chicago actually lost too. I don't know what it is with Denzel Valentine. I just don't know. He's impressive all around, but I just don't think he's that athletic. And I do know for a fact he has knee issues. And I just want to know what is up with Chicago getting another player that could be a huge liability if his knees can't hold up. Like, he's a good frame for a small forward. He's 6'6". He played very well at Michigan State. He's a senior, which is great. He has the experience. He did a lot in his college career, but I just don't know if he's going to be a great pick for Chicago, in my opinion. And I know, Flock, you the residential Bulls.
I'm just waiting on you to finish. I
don't know. I don't know, honestly. I think he. I don't know. I don't know. I can see more with him.
I'm gonna answer you not as a Bulls fan, but as a basketball fan in general. This has absolutely nothing to do with the Bulls in particular. But when you have the 14th pick, I mean, at that point, you're just grabbing the best player available for what your team needs. So, I mean, even if you do get him, he's not getting number 1 pick money. He's not getting Ben Simmons money. If he doesn't work out, how much salary is he hurting? You didn't just sign him to a 5-year deal. I mean, they have the right to not re-sign him his last 2 years. They have a team option for 2 years on him. So if the first 2 seasons he don't do shit, they have the right to say, nah, we good. We gon' waive you. He is a defensive liability, but the fact that he's a Tom Izzo guy, that plays a part. He's a high character player too. And it's
another factor was he was the only small forward left.
Yeah, so, I mean, it wasn't that many players. Right, it wasn't that many players. That's why I said at that position that what you need, it wasn't that many players that they had left to get. And at that pick, because I think he was projected to go like top 10.
Yeah, he would have went top 10 if he wouldn't have got hurt back in December.
Yeah, he was projected to go top 10. I mean, I'm quite sure they worked him out and all that other stuff. I mean, it could happen. Like you said, what happened with Julius Randle? He didn't have any injuries on his belt, and first game he got hurt and he was out for the whole season. So you never know. That shit can happen, man. You know, that's just always God's plan, so you never really know. So just to speak like from a basketball standpoint, you get the best player you can get. You don't do what Boston did and just skip over and cherry pick players. So you know, that's just my personal opinion on it.
No, I feel you. I mean, you definitely do make a very valid point. And yeah, I mean, he was the last small forward first. And I mean, this is the NBA draft. You're gonna pick the best person available. And even if you have to make strategic moves and say, all right, I'm gonna pick this person because I may trade them over to another team and get future picks and then get people I want on my team to actually fit well. I just felt like, you know, I I think that he could do well in the league. I just feel like he's a huge liability, and I feel like as of right now, Chicago definitely doesn't need that. But we'll talk more about Chicago later on.
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk about it right now. Yeah, we
True.
We can talk about a couple of these trades that happened right before the draft and when it happened during the draft. We'll start off with the Derrick Rose trade. Derrick Rose, second round pick. Justin Holiday went to the Knicks for Robin Lopez, Jose Calderon, and Jerry and Grant. Siggy, you are the Knicks fan. What do you think? What do you think about this?
Man, as a Knicks fan, this was the greatest trade in Knicks history. And I'm going to explain why. And a lot of people right away, obviously the jokes came in because he's no longer in Chicago. So now I have to deal with the jokes about the knees and all that stuff. Derrick Rose doesn't even need to play one game for the Knicks this season for me to even say that it's still the best trade ever, because his name alone made the Knicks relevant again. It made it to where you can say Rose, Melo, Porzingis. Free agent wise, that sounds a lot better than, Lopez, Melo, Porzingis, or Calderon. Lopez.
Yep.
So Rose, and it's already paying off. Noah is already talking about New York. There was rumors about Durant, which I don't think is going to happen. I think he's going to stay, but still, there was.
They're trying to entice him.
We're gonna talk about the free agent stuff later.
What I'm saying is that this name Rose brought legitimacy and hope to the Knicks organization from a free agent standpoint, and also it's a 1-year deal. Even if he does get hurt, like I said, he could be whatever. The fact that it was on the 1 year for $21 million, whatever that's left in his contract. The big contract situation coming up in not this offseason, but the next.
Yep.
Yeah, they have all this cash space now.
Right, it's going from 70 to 94, I believe, this season.
Yeah, and then
after that, it's going up to 115.
Yeah, 115. So with this deal, they got rid of Lopez's contract. They got rid of Grant's contract. They got rid of all their future contracts. All of a sudden, now the Knicks only have Porzingis and Melo after next year. So once Rose is gone, everybody else, all of a sudden they got a team that they can bring 2-3 max players if they wanted to with this cap. It depends on what they do, obviously, if they sign Noah, etc. But I mean, like I said, it brings hope. This was the greatest trade in Knicks history.
I'm not gonna say it's gonna be the greatest trade of Knicks history, but I definitely
name another trade.
I mean, you're absolutely
if you're not gonna say it, Ace, you gotta be able to name something better.
You're right.
Name a trade better. What, the Steven franchise trade? Come on. What, the Starbury trade?
That was a good one, but that wasn't. All right, you got it. I don't feel like that was the best trade, and you absolutely right. That's how you feel. I see it now. Living here in New York City, I already saw everybody, and I mean all the Knicks fans hype everything like that. You're right. The name Derrick Rose itself makes the Knicks more attractive, and even Carmelo Anthony said that they believe that they have a great shot of acquiring a lot of free agents, which is going to happen at 12. And because Rose is on that roster now, I also think that this is a new chapter for Rose, and I think that this will be a huge thing for him if he can stay healthy this entire year and play to his best of his ability.
Well, it's a contract year, so you would think that he has to. So
I mean, he does have to, because he can make himself.
He's playing for his career, right?
He's playing exactly, and that's why I do think he's playing for his career right now. Putting him on the Knicks, that means he's gonna have everything to lose. And I pray that he stays healthy, because I actually like him a lot as an athlete and as a person. I want him to do well, and I feel like putting him in this situation, especially with Phil Jackson and with everybody, I definitely do think that they can do well with this. It's up to the Knicks. Put it like that. They have the keys, because at the end of the day, you talk about getting Noah. You basically talk about when you got like a couple years back, I believe, and they were going to trade Melo, and Melo was going to actually go over to the Chicago Bulls. So basically, you got that team that you really wanted. You just waited 2 years down the road, and instead of just saying, you know what, I'm not about the money. You know what, I'm going to go really be serious about going to get a ring. I'm going over to Chicago. He said, you know what, I'm going to get that max contract. I'm going to get all that money. and I'm gonna take these L's.
And now he got Chicago back with him.
He definitely got Chicago back with him in New York. So it's actually going to be very interesting to see. And if I am here in New York still, I definitely will be getting tickets because them tickets are like $30.
And Flock, before you go, because I know we got to get the Bulls fan perspective on this trade. Before you go, though, also the reason why I think it's a great trade is we were able to give up 3 pieces that really didn't matter. Grant was a second-round pick that was a bust, anyways. Calderon was a journeyman, nobody. And unless he plays for, Spain on the Olympics, that's the only time he seems to be good.
I thought he was a first-round pick.
Who, Grant?
Yeah. Jerry.
I don't know.
Yeah, I believe he was a first-round pick. He was a first-round pick.
I'm shocked the Knicks had a first-round pick, so that's probably why I said
that. Right. Right, because they never do.
That, Lopez was literally a guy that nobody wanted. In fact, even the Knicks told him, "Hey, before you sign this deal, let's wait a little bit just in case Aldridge decides to come over." I mean, he was a guy that nobody cared about.
You know what their condition in his contract was, right? That
Which
he
one
would only sign Robin Lopez. He signed and said that this is only valid if they didn't go after, I forgot who the hell it was last season. It's on the tip of my tongue. It was somebody that they couldn't sign in order to sign him. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was.
Might have been Gasol, actually.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was. I don't know who it was, but I forgot, man. It'll come to me probably before we done, and I just blurted out like, "Oh, it was."
Nah, I feel you.
It was starting.
I'm just saying though, they got rid of people that nobody really cared about in the Knicks organization, anyways, for Rose. So it was like a redo, a restart button, and you got a star, athlete out of it.
Yeah, right. And Grant was actually picked up the 19th pick. He was the first round. They got him from the trade from Atlanta Hawks.
Okay, so it was a trade. All right.
Yeah, it was a trade.
All right, man. This is all right from a Bulls fan's perspective. Derrick Rose, right? The boy is from Chicago, so everybody was rooting for him to succeed. He got hurt. He stayed hurt. People still did not turn their back on him. Then he had nothing else better to do than to do those press conferences and interviews, talking about how he want to be able to walk to his son's graduation. He want to be able to do this. He want to be able to do that. People were like, why would he say some shit like that? Then he would say some shit like, oh, I can't wait till free agency. All this money that's coming around. We like, dude, you ain't played in 2 full seasons. You ain't played all of, 12, 13, and then what was it, 11 and 12, and then, or whatever season it was, and then you got hurt 10 games into the following season. So why would he say that? So the people start saying, what is wrong with this kid? So everybody was like, all right. Then this shit happened with him and Jimmy Butler. They could not play together. They couldn't. They had their best opportunity to push for a championship 2 seasons ago when they went up 2-1 on the Cleveland Cavaliers. These dudes were up 11 points going into the fourth quarter. It could have been up 3-1, and they blew it. After that, everybody started turning on him because he just acted like he just did not give a shit. So for him to come out there, I just felt like both of them, the Bulls and Derrick Rose, both needed a change of pace. Both needed a break. They both needed away from each other. Is what I'm trying to say. They both needed to hit the reset button. You can't hit the reset button in the same place because you're still comfortable in that same place. So I thought it was the best thing for Rose, and believe it or not, the best thing for the Chicago Bulls. What I don't agree with is what they got back from them. And the only reason the Knicks look like geniuses because of this was because of his injury, his injury proneness, his proneness to injury. Yep. That's why they got him for what they got him for. Because they basically got him for a fucking bag of peanuts. Let's be honest. Yep. They got him for nothing. They got him for nothing. Dollar. Yeah, they got him for pennies on the dollar. Nobody else would even listen to it. Like, dude, this dude, he played good towards the end of last season. He did. He played really good. But that just wasn't enough. Nobody still would invest in that, man. So for that, I figure like they did what they had to do. Rose is in a different place. He said he wasn't mad that they traded. He said, "I just want to tell him thank you." So
yeah, he was very appreciative.
I feel like I'm rooting for the
sarcastic.
I'm rooting for the dude to have a good season because it can kind of stick it to Chicago. And at the same time, it's like, okay, if you don't, you basically gonna be a journeyman now at this point. because nobody's gonna have faith in you. So all that shit you were talking about, salary and getting all this money, nobody's gonna pay you that money. So, I mean, I liked him better when he didn't really talk that much, and he let his brother do all the talking for him. So, with that being said, we can go on to another trade that happened.
Yes.
Oklahoma City. Speaking of robberies, Oklahoma City, man, they stuck them boys up in Orlando. They shipped out Serge Ibaka, and they ended up with Victor Oladipo. And did they give up the 12 pick? They had the 12 pick.
Yeah, they gave up the 12. Yeah, they gave it.
And Sabonis, Arvydas Sabonis' son. Arvydas Sabonis' son. A lot of people may not know who Arvydas Sabonis is. Arvydas Sabonis, he was a beast before he went to the NBA. When he played in Lithuania, he got injured a lot and came over into the league as like a 31-year-old rookie. But he was still good with the Portland Trailblazers. He was like the original outside center. Like when you seen bigs that step out and shoot, he was the original. Nobody was doing that before him. I mean, you seen Manute Bol hit a couple threes back in the day, but that dude was a sniper. So, Ace, what did you think about this highway robbery, and how will that impact Oklahoma, and how will it impact Orlando?
I mean, I couldn't even believe that happened. Like, I had a double take when I first saw it on Twitter. I was like, what? Like, nah, this didn't happen. It's funny because when it gets into the season, when people start at the end of the season, after the NBA championship title, teams say, okay, I need this player, I want this, but you don't necessarily think that someone's gonna get robbed this way, and it just happened right out there. Oh man, I'm actually still shocked about it. Like, I didn't even think it was real. I think OKC is just gonna get even better from it, to be honest with you. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm really interested to see how this season starts. It's going to be a very interesting season, and it's really going to see, is it going to last, in my opinion.
All right, Siggy.
Man, it was a steal of the century, man. Except for the Rose and Knicks deal, in my opinion. But
that was definitely a bigger robbery, though.
Oh yeah, that is definitely.
Serge Ibaka is a scrub. Now, can he do good in Orlando, being the only target now? Because
I think he was just put into that system, that OKC system, which I've never liked, where they play too much one-on-one isolation basketball. I think he was just a casualty of their system.
I could believe it, because I mean, Harden almost was also that. Also, look at Harden now; he's a star, but. I don't think Ibaka's going to turn around and be a great power forward, though. I still see him more as his ceiling, in my opinion, is a man. I can't even think of a name that I can put him in. If for a ceiling, that's how bad I think he is. But anyways, what they gave up, the Magic, which I'm shocked. Sabonis kid, obviously a draft pick. I think that's actually Ibaka's ceiling right there, is Sabonis. So they could have just kept Sabonis and they would have got Ibaka, in my opinion. But they gave up Ersan Islova, whatever. Right. And he's actually a pretty good player for Detroit, and he did all right with Orlando. I mean, obviously they had, Aaron, what's his face, that started doing really good. Aaron Gordon. Yep. So he was a liability, but that's a good player. And all of a sudden now, if you look at Ibaka versus Islova for their role, I think he can do that. And then on top of that, you got Oladipo, who was the star of Orlando, in my opinion. He was the one doing everything for the Magic.
He was an overall great player. I can't wait to see what he does.
So they got rid of Ibaka, who really wasn't doing much. And in the playoffs, we saw that. We saw that Westbrook and Durant were desperately trying to find anybody. When Dion Waiters is the guy that looked like he was the third option, then Ibaka was trash, in my opinion, especially in the playoffs. So he was a liability. He's like what Harrison Barnes is now to the Golden State Warriors, where he might have good regular season numbers, but when it counts and when it matters, he's non-existent. So that's Ibaka, in my opinion, was non-existent. So if you're gonna have non-existent,
26 too, so he's got time. He's got
time to develop even more.
That's true.
He's still got time.
He's gonna peak out eventually, though. I mean, how many years are you gonna give him before you what? I don't think he's gonna be able to do more.
I mean, like I said, it was a highway robbery.
I know a couple players like that, and they played for, and one of them played for the Bulls. We'll talk about them later, though.
True.
So, So all in all, my thoughts on it, real quick. Like I said, I just thought it was a highway robbery. I don't know what. I mean, Orlando must really be high on Serge Ibaka. That's all I can say, because they basically gave up the farm. And if Oladipo can stay healthy and consistent, he'll be an all-star. That he's that good, because he's good on both ends of the floor. And I feel like they did that to kind of like show Kevin Durant, like, hey, look, we trying to get better over here. And I don't think they done, to be perfectly honest with you. And I'm gonna touch on that when we talk about the free agents, because I've been doing my research, man, something serious on these teams and who they trying to go after. So if y'all want, man, we can go into these free agents, and I'll talk about just the top ones. I mean, because I'm not gonna name every free agent. Like, who really gives a damn what Chandler Parsons is gonna play? I don't. So, and I don't think y'all do either.
I don't give a fuck.
And I don't think y'all do either. So we're not gonna talk about those. Like, I'll start off with the older guys that are technically free agents, or haven't decided what they're gonna do. Tim Duncan did exercise his player option, and for guess how much? $5.6 million. This is the star, your all-time greatest player, take pay cuts every season to stay on his team so that team can get better. He didn't pull a Kobe. That's all I'll say.
Watch your mouth.
Hey, man, it's true, brother. Stop being
You
a fan.
right.
Stop being a fan and stop being a realist like me. He didn't pull a Kobe and say my last 2 years I want to go out and give me $24 million, but y'all can't really sign nobody else. No, I'm gonna take this money. I can't do it like I used to. I got my money on the front end. I'll take less money so y'all can bring players around me and hopefully get one more. That's what Tim been doing.
That's
for
what
the
makes
past
Tim
four
Duncan.
seasons. For the past 4 seasons, Tim Duncan is 39 years old. And for the past 4 seasons, he's been doing that. So since he was 35 years old, he's been doing. Tim Duncan, I think, turns 40 this year too. So but he still hasn't decided whether or not he's going to retire or not. But he did pick up the option just in case, because you only have so many days before free agency to declare if you're going to opt in or opt out. Dirk Nowitzki, I mean, we all assuming he's going to go back to Dallas. He's just, he's just buying his time to see what they're going to do. Dirk is not going anywhere. And I'm going to need y'all to start learning how to say that man's name. It's Dirk Nowitzki, not Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki. Yeah, I mean,
Dirk Nowitzki with the 3.
Because it's a W, but German people spell it the W with a V, man. Like, I learned that shit in school. Also, Kevin Garnett. No word on if he's going to retire or not. Kevin Garnett is 40 years old.
KG ain't retiring, fam. He gonna go out one more year.
I think he needs to. I think he needs to hang it up.
He's gonna pick up that paycheck.
I don't want to see KG get hurt out there. I think he's one of the only players that never really had a serious injury throughout his career. I don't want to see KG get hurt, man. I grew up watching that dude. Like,
KG was great. I like KG
he's
a lot.
One of the best, man. I love that dude. Game
energetic and everything.
Yeah. So I don't want to see him get hurt.
Basketball.
I think it's time though. But let's go down the line. We got LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Andre Drummond, Al Horford, Hassan Whiteside, Mike Conley, Dwayne Wade, believe it or not, DeMar DeRozan, Nicholas Batum, Bradley Beal, and Dwight Howard. Now, I'll start off like this. Some of the landing spots that some of these guys can go to, I'll let you all go and you let me know out of the names I named, I mean, where you think you guys are gonna stay with the teams they with, or are they gonna go somewhere else? And then I'll go over the possible teams that they can eventually that I'm thinking they'll eventually be meeting with or could possibly go to. So Siggy, if you want to start with I guess we'll go from the bottom up. You want to start with Dwight Howard?
Howard, hey, believe it or not, because I'm already hearing over here in Dallas that Whiteside and the Mavericks are a done deal, pretty much. I guess we'll find out here in the next 15 minutes.
Right, exactly. He might get some live news.
If that happens, the only logical place that he can go to is Miami, in my opinion. They're the only ones desperate enough to pay him. Obviously, we already know Lakers are going to get him again, and the Sixers already have a ton of bigs, so they're not going to offer with their salary cap.
Yeah, but one of them ain't played in 2 years since he been drafted. Still, Embiid, he ain't played. He got drafted 2 years ago, and he still ain't played.
Sixers.
I look up, he's doing dunks in between the legs, but you can't play in an NBA game, bro. Like, come on, son.
If they were willing to give Whiteside max money in Miami, I think Howard and Pat Riley could use each other if Whiteside leaves Miami. I think that's a perfect spot for him
I think it's
because he'll get his money still, and he'll be the star again. Because Wade, he's getting up there, and Bosh, you just don't know at this point.
Right, with his health.
With his health, it's like detrimental. Like he may need to just, I think I need to just.
And before
leave.
anybody, but please don't be that actually guy. I didn't forget about Joakim Noah. It's pretty much a done deal. He's going from Chicago. He's going
Knicks.
to New York.
I think that 18 million.
And then the same thing with Eric Gordon. Eric
man.
Gordon might be over there too. So the Knicks is going to be now known as the all injury team.
Oh yeah,
team.
definitely.
Oh well. Hey, we're paper champions.
Yeah,
You're either gonna be really good or someone's gonna get hurt and it's gonna be a catastrophe. One or the other.
Paper knees. All right. So Ace, what's your thoughts on Dwight Howard?
I mean, honestly, Dwight Howard, man, I
do you think he's staying in Houston, or where do you think he's going?
I think he's staying in Houston. To be honest with you, I don't see why not. Why he wouldn't just take take
really
his option to go there.
I don't.
He doesn't. He hates.
He hates Houston. I know he hates Houston, but I would want to see him still in Houston. Where else is he?
I honestly don't think they want him back.
There is no way they're gonna get him there. And if they do want him back at Houston, they'll offer him $5 million only.
Not for that asking price he wants. All right.
For that price,
So Ace thinks he's staying in Houston. Siggy thinks he's going to either Miami or Dallas. Was that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Siggy? All right. These are some of his potential landing spots, in my opinion. Believe it or not, I got Miami, Dallas, Portland, Milwaukee, and his old team, Orlando, if they want him.
Orlando's interesting.
That would be interesting, but I don't think they want him.
You never know.
They got the money.
Nope, they said the same thing about Cleveland with LeBron, right? So you never know. Not saying that he's on the level of LeBron James, but you never know.
Absolutely not.
I just think he's expecting too much. I think he's overvaluing himself. He's not the player he once was. And I've heard people just say, like, to me, he's just not a rough and tough dude. Like, to have the body that he has, he's just too soft, yo. Too soft. And he got butterfingers too. He's just not a dog. Like, Shaq gets on him a lot, and I think a lot of it's hating over the whole Superman thing, because Shaq can be a hater, but he makes points though, good points about Dwight Howard. He's just not a dog, yo. He's not. I would take a Steven Adams over Dwight Howard. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
All right, next person, Bradley Beal. He's a restricted free agent, which means whatever team offers him whatever, Washington has the option to match that offer. And
they're matching it.
So
they're matching it.
I think. I think if they don't, which they will be fools not to. Possible landing spots for him will be Toronto, Sacramento, and of course staying in Washington. And this whole Toronto thing that's pending on if DeRozan leaves.
Yep, that's on DeRozan.
So what do you think, Ace, Bradley Beal? Is he staying or is he leaving?
He's staying. He's definitely staying. And with them being able to match whatever he's offered anywhere else, I can still see him in Washington. And it would be cool actually to see him in Toronto. But like you said before, that's really going to be based off of the DeRozan if he's going to go or not. But I think he's going to stay in Washington.
All right, Siggy, what you think? He's staying or leaving?
He's staying in Washington. And actually, I think Washington's going to try to make it to where they can keep him cheaper. But even if they don't, they're in the best position because one, they could match any contract offer, and I don't think anybody's willing.
And they can give him that extra year as well.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody's willing to give him max anyway. So
nah. He needs to stay there.
He tends to get injured too.
Yep. So it's a stay. It's Washington.
He's staying. He's gonna stay.
So Nicholas Batum, I don't really see a lot of teams going after him. So I think it's a good chance he may stay in Charlotte. So I'll just say that I think he's staying in Charlotte. If he goes somewhere else, I have no clue. I honestly don't know. He's like a man of mystery, man. Like, you never know, man. Like, he was balling for the Hornets last year, too. A lot of people didn't see that, but he was under the radar. Like, he was really balling for them. I've seen a few of them games when they beat the Bulls, and he was killing them. What you think about Batum? He staying in Charlotte, or you think he leaving? Siggy?
I think he's going to stay because he's going to want money. It's going to be about money. I don't see many teams offering a big contract. The only other team that's willing to give him that much money is the Lakers because they're desperate. But I don't think he'll go there.
Yeah, they try to get anybody. They trying to get they trying to get Chandler Parsons.
No, fuck that. That's just like
how much you mark my words. Mark my words. If don't nobody else pay him what he want, the Lakers will. Anybody else notice Batum kind of look like JG?
He does.
Oh man,
that should be the thumbnail.
Right.
I ain't gonna say that. They don't look like JG. Stop it.
All right, what you think? He's staying or leaving, Ace?
I think he's gonna end up staying in Charlotte. Like I do know that he was expected to meet with Dallas, but I don't think it's gonna do anything. He's gonna end up staying in Charlotte.
Lakers.
Stop.
All right, DeMar DeRozan. Possible landing spots for him is staying in Toronto, going to the Lakers, or going to Brooklyn. Brooklyn making a move to get him. I think he's staying personally. Siggy, what you think?
He's staying.
Didn't he go on record by saying he wasn't even meeting with anybody else but Toronto right now?
Yep. That was him. I know the Lakers are going to offer him max, but that's the thing,
right? Because he's from Compton. He's from California.
I wouldn't mind seeing him in LA. I think that'd be a good pick for him. I know
Lakers fans have been talking about it all year long that he's going to go over there. But the thing is that Toronto has a good team, and he's going to get that max money. So might as well get more money, more security. Yep. Exactly. So it's going to be.
He's like 27.
Yep.
So
I think so. You get 5 years. So.
He in his prime years, man, to cash out. So why not? What you think? Is he staying or he leaving?
Yeah, he's gonna end up staying. As much as I think that he would be great in a Laker uniform, I just don't think personally it'd be good for him to go. I think he should stay in Toronto.
All right, Dwayne Wade. It's hard to see him going anywhere. They said he was flirting with the idea of talking to other teams, but I think his ship has sailed as far as like going somewhere else where somebody is really going to get him big time money. I know that they made some type of like under the table deal, like when he took all that less money to bring in LeBron and Bosh, that they would pay him on the back end or something like that. And now Pat Riley kind of like low key reneging on that. So that's the word. I don't know how true that is. I'm not Chris Broussard, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm naming names.
I believe it.
I believe it. I'm
not naming names. You know what I'm saying? I'm naming names. Chris Broussard. I'm not saying that, I know that's the truth, but nothing surprises me, especially in sports where, the athlete is supposed to be loyal to the team, but the team is never loyal to the athlete. So that's just the way it happens in sports, yo. Unless you are, never mind. I think he's staying in Miami for some reason because I just don't think anybody else is gonna pay him the money he's expecting. I mean, the Wade is what 35 now. Is he 34? He's either 34.
Yeah, he's 34. He's 34. He's 34.
Right, so I mean, and then he has an injury history as well. So
knees.
Yeah. So. I mean, that's just
this is what
the
I
theme
think.
of my city or something.
I need to bring it up.
Concrete.
I need to bring it up since somebody brought it up on my Twitter. There was rumblings that he might go to the Cavs, but there's no way he's gonna take a pay cut. He wants money because apparently the rumor is his agent reached out to the Mavs and the Spurs to try to get at least $20 million, and that's not happening at Cleveland. So
damn sure ain't happening in San Antonio.
Exactly.
Definitely not.
We're gonna talk about who San Antonio got they radar on. So what did you think? So everybody think Wade's staying in Miami?
Yeah,
Wade is definitely staying in Miami. He's gonna retire.
But he'll return to Miami.
Yeah.
I think he'll retire with Miami.
All right. So Mike Conley, possible landing spots for him will be staying in Memphis or going to the Spurs. That's interesting. Because if he goes, if San Antonio, what happens to Tony Parker then? That would be interesting. That's the only puzzling thing. I think Popovich is loyal to his players almost to a flaw, because I feel like they had their run 2 years ago. Once they won that championship, I felt like it was time for Ginobili to retire. I felt like Tim Duncan should have retired, and they should have kind of went in another direction with that team. But they thought they made one more push. I mean, they won 67 games with the team they had still, but it just comes around playoff time and they just kind of run out of gas to me. So, what you think, Ace Conley? Is he staying in Memphis or is he going somewhere else?
I think Conley's going to end up staying in Memphis, and it's actually funny because, and yet sad, as I talked about the Lakers being desperate, because there's actually have been talks that the Lakers were actually looking to talk to Conley about having them come over, but I honestly think he's going to end up staying in Dallas. Memphis. My bad.
What's the point of having a number 2 pick from a year ago as a point guard if you talking to another point guard? That sound like
I know, but
to him.
Right now, the Lakers are all over the place, and they have been over the place.
Anyways, I don't care about the Lakers. Siggy, what do you think?
Nah, he's staying because he's actually going to get a max contract. That's the thing about a lot of people are talking about, like Noah's $18 million. In the end, that's going to be cheap because this year you're going to see a lot of players getting a lot of money because of the salary cap. Yep. So Conley's going to get a big old fat contract, and he's not even an all-star, but he is a good player though. So he's a solid
player.
The only other team I can think of that he can go to, honestly, is the Mavs. That's the one I can see where the Mavs can come in and say, "Hey, look, we need a point guard now. Darren Williams opted out," and I could see them doing something like that. But we'll see. But I think he'll stay in the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's staying with Memphis. I just think he just strikes me as that type of loyal dude. He's gonna stay. I think he's gonna stay. Could be wrong, but I think he's gonna stay. All right. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty with some of these the ones that are kind of questionable. Hassan Whiteside, possible landing spots. Staying in Miami, doubtful. Going to LA, I'm not sure. I mean, up until earlier today, I thought that was his most likely spot. The Boston Celtics, trying to make a run at him, and the Dallas Mavericks, which is looking like his most likely landing spot in my personal opinion. Siggy, what do you think?
It's going to be Mavs, man. That's all they were talking about all day over here in the radio. Because I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. Apparently, it's a done deal. Like it's.
I mean, you do stay in Texas, though, Siggy. So some may say it's just
what I'm saying,
media
though,
bias.
Look, this is what I'm saying. That this guy that was talking on the ESPN radio said that it was more likely than Noah to the Knicks. That it was more likely that Hassan Whiteside is going to be a Mav. At midnight too. They're saying it right away.
Yeah.
We're
gonna wrap. Once we wrap this up, we all gonna be tuned in front of NBA TV to see what's going on.
Yep.
So we
might find out here in 3 minutes.
We might find out.
We might
because we might be live, giving y'all live updates. What you think, Ace? Is he staying in Miami or is he going somewhere else?
I believe he's going to go somewhere else. I think Miami's kind of losing ground with him, and it's unfortunate, but I do think that he can go somewhere else and be very successful.
They can't pay him the money. They can give him the years, but I don't think they can pay him the actual money.
Exactly.
To do that, because reason being, Miami's prime objective, right? It's not Hassan Whiteside. It's not even Dwayne Wade. It's Kevin Durant. That's their main objective right now.
Shit ain't gonna happen.
I mean, you don't know that, but I'm telling you, that's their prime objective. But you think other players gonna sit around and wait to see what you gonna do? No.
Hell no.
They gonna keep it moving. Like, man, if you're not gonna pay me, somebody else will. So
let me get that money.
So where you think he going? Dallas?
I can see it in Dallas. I'm not gonna say it's a guarantee, but I mean, it does look like he's leaning towards Dallas. Dallas is definitely the front runner from.
I mean, me personally, I kind of thought he was going to the Lakers. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, I might be right. Then again, we might be wrong. Siggy,
anybody could be going to anybody could be going to the Lakers apparently, because Lakers just gonna get anybody.
They gonna go after everybody. They may not get anybody,
but they go after everybody.
They go get
Ever
Chandler
since
Parsons.
Dwight Howard turned him down, nobody wants to go to the Lakers, man.
They gonna go to Chandler Parsons. I'm telling you, man, the Bus family, they got a sketchy track record right now. All right.
Well,
it can't be much worse than Foreman and Paxson in Chicago. That's why I don't know superstars want to go to Chicago no more.
Right.
I mean, hell, Kobe wanted to come here back in 2007. But,
yeah, he did.
But the reason why he didn't, right? Because he wanted Lou Aldang to be there when he got there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lakers wanted Lou Aldang. That's the only reason why Kobe didn't retire with the Bulls. Just a fun fact. Yeah, I know. God. I was so upset. Al Horford, possible landing spots. He may stay in Atlanta. He may go to Houston. He may go to Boston or Oklahoma City. Now this is tricky because
Houston.
They made. I don't know what Atlanta is thinking, because they traded Jeff Teague. He was also another person that got traded in a goofy trade where he went to Indiana. What was that dude named? George. What was his name? George Hill. George Hill went to Utah, and Atlanta ended up getting a pick from Utah or something, that 12th pick or whatever it was. However that shit went. I could be right, I could be wrong. But that whole situation, like, it's like at this point, what is Atlanta doing? Are they retooling? Are they rebuilding? Horford is what, like 31?
Yeah,
What,
he's
30, he's what, 31, maybe 32 at the oldest. I think he's 31. So I mean, he ain't got that many
he's 30
years yet. So I mean, he's getting right there where he needs to. If he wants to win, he needs to go to a team where he can win now. So, and if I was a betting man, I would bet on going to OKC. That's your best bet if you want to win. If you want to cash out and get paid, go to Boston. So that's just what I'm thinking. What you think, Siggy? He's staying in ATL?
I think he's going to Houston. I honestly think he's going to Houston.
Yeah, because if Dwight Howard's not coming back, that's like the perfect
opportunity for him.
And I think, you know what, I think personally from a basketball standpoint, as far as system, that's the best fit for him. As far as system. But at the same time, with James Harden, if you're a big man, I wouldn't want to play with James Harden.
No.
Real talk. I don't want to sit there and watch this dude dribble 20 seconds and then he put up a crazy shot. It may go in. Most of the time, it may not go in. And then I got to, hustle back because he taking bad shots. He's just not the type of player. Like, if you're a true big, you don't want to play with. I think if Horford go to OKC, he's going to play power forward and fill in where Ibaka left there. Because you got Steven Adams playing center, and then you got what's the other dude? They call him the Stash Brothers, Cantor. He's another center. So they got size over there. So I think that's the better fit for him. I
don't know if they're gonna be able to afford him though with Durant now.
But see, they could go over the cap to sign Durant.
So they'll have to wait though.
Right. So they would have to sign Horford first. And then sign Durant to go over the cap to re-sign him. That's how that works when you had Larry Bird rights to your players that's been with the team for longer than 3 years. You can go over the cap to sign them. All right, so we all think Horford is leaving.
I think so, man.
I think he's gonna leave.
He doesn't have an identity anymore. The Hawks. Speaking of though, man, the Pacers look awesome on paper. We'll talk about this some other time though.
Yeah, they definitely do look good on paper.
Yeah. All right. Andre Drummond, restricted free agent. This should be a real quick one. I don't think Detroit is going to be foolish enough to let him go anywhere. So whatever offer Houston or Boston give him, or the Lakers give him, they're going to match it, hands down.
Yep. He's a max player.
He's a max player. He's staying.
Yep.
All right. The final two. We'll start with LeBron James. He's not going anywhere. He's staying in Cleveland. He's staying in Cleveland.
He getting that money.
Yeah, he's staying in Cleveland. He's just about
to be. Let's talk about it real quick since it's LeBron. He's only going to do it for 1 year.
Yeah, and then he's going to cash out. Then he's going to cash out after that.
And get the max.
Mark my word, LeBron James will be a $200 million player. Would have signed a first $200 million contract in the NBA this time next season.
You're right.
I'm telling you.
If the way it's projected, he definitely will. The way he played in the finals, everything like that, he's doing what he should do. Take that 1 year, and then get the max amount of money you can. That man's going to get his money.
Let's have some fun, though. Let's have some fun with this. We know that they're going to be, with the next two people, we know are both going to be 1 year deal players because them two are going to get the max, the super max next year, whatever that's going to be, which is Durant and LeBron James. So if the Warriors, if they lose out on Durant, which is looking like he might stay in Oklahoma, why wouldn't LeBron just say, you know what, let me just join you guys and
are you on drugs?
They got the money. What makes LeBron want to stay knowing that he could go anywhere he wants now for 1 year? Why not?
Because he got a championship in Cleveland. He won a championship. He was going to want to bring another one.
He's not going to the West. LeBron is not going to the Western Conference.
That's true. But, I'm just saying, though, I just picked the Warriors because, they're the ones looking for Durant.
You think that
why not go anywhere, though? He could pick any team he wants, technically, because it's just going to be for 1 year. So why not be I don't know. Why not be the Spurs? Why not be the Knicks?
Nah,
Why not
hell no, man. Like,
at this point?
not even in fantasy world is this man LeBron James. He just won a championship in Cleveland, fam. He's gonna stay there.
I know he's not leaving, but I said let's have fun with this. What team? Because I talked about this last year too. Whenever he left Miami, I was saying he's probably gonna go back.
The decision 3.0,
and he did. His shoe deal says you play for the Bulls, Knicks, or Lakers, you get all this money. Why not go to one of those 3 teams for 1 year?
I think he got enough money, yo. I think right now at this point he about winning. Because LeBron is 31 years old, so he's got a good, solid 3 years left of being the most dominant player in the league. I mean, of being the most dominant player in the league. Not being the best player, not being this. So for all you LeBron, fanboys, as far as being the most dominant player in the league.
1 year, he can come back to Cleveland and sign that mega contract.
I feel like that's gonna tarnish his legacy even worse than he already did.
Yeah, it's gonna make him look. Yeah,
like I would have hoped. I just wish he would have never left the first time. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people would have had a lot more respect and admiration for him if he would have stuck it out. People would have been rooting for him instead of rooting against him like a lot of people do now. Because the first thing people say, oh well, Larry Bird stuck it out. Oh, Magic Johnson didn't leave go nowhere. Oh, Michael Jordan didn't go leave nowhere. Oh, Kobe Bryant didn't go nowhere. Which he almost did. He was kicking his feet to get out of there at one point, but he didn't. So I mean, keep comparing him to that. I mean, he is his own person. I think he should just stay and retire in Cleveland.
He's obviously going to stay, but I was wanting to have some fun.
Now Cleveland feel like they're a regular city.
But don't worry, that's going to get brought down all down in all the other sports. Don't get too high on your high horse. And the NFL coming right around the corner.
He knows he can't be comfortable with LeBron because LeBron can decide one day, you know what, I might leave for real.
That's why he does that. That's why he does those 1 year opt-out option deals. That's why. Because he doesn't trust that owner. Because all them years, he like, man, all my young years in my prime, which he still is to me. But when he was like high flying and doing all the aerial stuff,
crazy shit.
He's more of a thinker now. But when he was like in his prime athletically, they wasn't putting pieces around him. But the dude was still carrying them dudes to like 60-win seasons. So I get a man's props when it's due. I just feel like he's playing it smart, and he's a smart dude. And from a business standpoint, this is the best thing for him to do, which is sign these 1 year deals. And once that cap balloons up next season, I'm telling you, he's going to be close, if not right at the $200 million
I believe it.
Contract.
Him and Durant.
Yep. Both of them.
He's gonna. So, they're gonna stay.
Finally, Kevin Durant. Possible spots for him.
It's the same situation. It's going to be a 1 year deal. He's going to stay Oklahoma. He can flirt with the Warriors all he wants. I think it'll be fun for him to go to the Warriors, but of course everybody would say no. But I think though that trade
said something funny. TBA said something funny. He was like, "I hope he goes to Golden State so they can win another championship to bring Cleveland back down to reality." That they That's what was funny as hell, because we both said that shit. I'm like, man, Cleveland acting like they're a real city now, man. Like, but no, seriously, all seriousness though, OKC, Miami, Boston, San Antonio, and Golden State. These are all the teams I think he has meetings with, if I'm not mistaken. But I know these are teams that express the most interest and that he's actually meeting with. I just want to say this, man. I see a pattern, man. None of these players have Chicago on it. And you know what? I'm not mad, because this is like a all-time calling card for everybody to just say, you know what, get these two incompetent jackasses out of the front office, and John Paxson and Garth Foreman, Gonzo looking ass, get them up out of here, because nobody wants to play for them, man. They don't take care of their superstars. Did you see what they did to their coach? Thibodeau took that team to the playoffs every year he was there, and 2 of those seasons, Derrick Rose wasn't even playing. So, come on, man. Like, give that man credit. He's going to be over there in the Timberwolves, and he's going to have the Timberwolves, a team you do not want to fuck with. Real shit. I'm telling you. Watch how he had them boys playing. If nobody gets hurt, he going to have them guys playing. I'm telling you. But, my bad, man. I digress. Siggy, you think he's going to do, like I said, you think he's going to do the 1 year deal like I said, too?
Yeah, I think he's going to do the 1 year deal. I do think the Thunder making that trade that solidified it for him to stay.
Oh shit! Before I forget, hold on. I'm sorry. Before I forget, a lot of people wondering why would he just sign a 1-year deal. Think about this. Next season, guess who else is going to be a free agent? Russell Westbrook.
Exactly.
So he can play it one of two ways. He can either say, all right, I'm going to try this one more time with this dude. If we don't get this done, either A, I'm out, or B, I'm going to wait to see if he going to go somewhere else. And if he leave, I might stay. If he stay, I might stay. Or I might go, or whatever. So his options are endless right now at this point. He holds all the cards because say what you want about Westbrook. He's a dope player, triple-double threat, but that team does nothing. And I mean nothing. As you can see, when he got injured, what was it, last year? That team does nothing without Kevin Durant in that lineup. Absolutely nothing without Kevin Durant in that lineup. Point guard cannot carry your team. Point guard cannot carry your team to a championship. That shit has not happened since Isaiah Thomas did that with the Pistons.
It would have been fun to see him with the Warriors, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that would have been kind of crazy. But I had to stop you there real quick though, Siggy, because you said that his situation is the same as LeBron's, and it's a little bit different because of what happened to him during, with going against the Warriors. I don't know. Like I don't feel that he is truly happy in OKC. I can see him playing somewhere else, but like Flock said, Westbrook is gonna be another. It's gonna be another option. He's gonna be free agent next year. I say give it another year, and if it doesn't work, then go somewhere else, depending on what Westbrook's gonna do. He's gonna stay in OKC.
But that's the thing, though. If he stays in Oklahoma, he's gonna stay in Oklahoma because they're gonna be able to offer him that extra year. And during the twilight years, you want that extra year.
That's true.
So this choice is gonna be for the future, regardless of what Russell Westbrook does.
Why do you think Carmelo did that?
Because he knows that he probably could have waited, but look, right now, if he was a free agent now, I don't think the Knicks would offer him this max deal for next year. That's why he did it.
Hell nah, he knew that. That's true.
All right, so we all pretty much in agreement thinking that Durant is going to stay. Crazier things have happened, so we'll see. I mean, I for one, when LeBron did the decision, thought he should have came to Chicago. That's just me being a Chicago fan. A lot of other people said that was his best. That was the best move he could have made for the long term. You know what I mean? But he took the short term where he won a couple in Miami. Now he's back in Cleveland doing his thing and winning. So I mean, you never know, man. Each player does
a lot of crazy shit.
So this shit has been an hour long. We really didn't mean for it to go that long, but it was so much stuff to cover. Couldn't help it. Hopefully, man, you all have been thoroughly entertained. If you got any type of debate, respectful debates, that is, we will not tolerate disrespect in here. Don't make me come at you, yo. I've been taking my positivity pills. People don't do it. So, also, if you all are feeling this, man, let us know. Would you all support it if we did this stuff kind of like how they do the Game Illuminaughty podcast? If we did this shit live on my Twitch channel, so y'all can kind of like give insight and we can kind of answer y'all questions, do the shit live. However y'all like it, or y'all like it better this way, just let us know. Just put it in the comment section. Let us know what you think. As always, everybody's YouTube channel and Twitch channels and other stuff are in the description. Use that shit. Subscribe to people's channels, yo. Support the squad. Ace, you want to say something in closing?
I mean, it was another good debate. Like, I'm looking right now, stressing myself out because I already see Lakers reaching out to somebody from the Cavs. Lakers just, Lord, this is gonna be stop. This is gonna be a long ass season, but it was a good discussion. Appreciate you guys. I can't wait to see all your debates in the comment section. So let's get it.
All right, Siggy.
I'm telling you right now, Parsons is going to be a Laker because the Lakers are going to be desperate and they're going to offer him a max.
I'm telling you, man.
You're laughing about numbers, $18 million.
It's probably going to be true.
Get $25 million from the Lakers.
If you don't shut that up. Oh my God.
All right. In closing, it's your boy Flock once again, man. Hopefully, man, this is some stuff, man, y'all are thoroughly entertained by. This is our personal opinions, along with some facts that we have seen. I mean, with the teams, as far as like teams that are reaching out to some of these players, I did do my research. So all in all, man, this has been the Triple Threat Podcast, sports podcast that is, and we gone, y'all. Deuces.
Peace.